Currently, the startup failure rate is at 90% within 5 years. And that's
Mhm.
not even mentioning all the ideas that don't even get past that idea stage. Because it's hard, it's difficult. And especially if you're going at it alone at first and you have all these challenges and obstacles you have to push through, a lot of people don't even get past that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Top of the Hunt. Today, we've got Joe, who's got an interesting story of where they came from, meeting a co-founder who's living in a different location. So, without further ado, I'll pass you over to Joe. Hello, Joe. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you for having me, and I'm glad to be here. My name is Joel Wirtz, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of VenturePelt. We've recently launched on Product Hunt, and we managed to get number fourth of the Product Hunt of the day.
Fantastic. Can you tell me a bit about your background? How have you came to be here today? Have you been a serial founder, or is this the first time you're founding something?
No, so I've recently graduated as a mechanical engineer, so that's quite different from the place I'm at right now. I've always known that I wanted to be in entrepreneurship, and I've been a solo entrepreneur for quite some time. I used to be in the marketing sector, especially for mechanical engineering companies. I've done that now for 4 years. And yeah, the solo entrepreneurship road has been with quite some ups and downs. At some point, I was procrastinating a lot, having some sort of like entrepreneurial loneliness because there's never really been anyone to relate to on a one-to-one basis. And yeah, by accident, I came up to an article of, I think it was the American Society of Training and Development, that had done a research on accountability partners. And they had some statistics of, once you have a goal, for example, an idea or a goal, it's 10% likely you achieve that idea or goal. Once you make a plan to achieve it, goes up to 50%. If you tell your goal and idea to a person you trust and respect, it goes up to 65%. And once you have a dedicated accountability partner or success partner, as we call it now, it goes up to 95%. That started the whole journey, and that's where I started looking for an accountability partner myself, which I thought was quite easy to do, as a lot of founders had the same problem as me. But it turned out to be a lot harder than I initially thought. And it took me about 2 to 3 months to find my current accountability or success partner, if you will, which is Herman, my now co-founder of VenturePels. And yeah, after we've done like the whole weekly check-ins for about 8 months, we knew this had to be like readily available for any solo founder or just entrepreneur in general to do this with an easier way instead of looking around on business forums and all the other places for a couple of months to find your partner. So that's where the origins of VenturePels came from.
It's interesting. Your background from mechanical engineering to where you are is quite the journey. Was that your parents asking you to do that as a degree, or was that something you were interested and lost interest?
No, it's still an interest. It has always been like an interest in the more technical side. But I think 4 years ago, I also had some interest in marketing and psychology. So I just started to learn it a bit on my own alongside my studies. And I think one thing led to another, and most times marketing and sales leads to entrepreneurship. So yeah, that's where it really started, I think.
Yeah, it's an interesting juxtaposition of being interested in the mechanical side, which is very far from people. It's a heavy process, no people, isn't it? But then obviously
Yeah.
from there, you're picking up some complementary skills. It's an interesting skill set to build. And I suppose that it's going to help you long term a lot more than you perhaps will realize. I learned some marketing. Now I can sell this thing I want to build.
Yeah.
So it's obviously the process for accountability going up from 10% through to 95 is a drastic difference
Yeah.
that I suppose most people are not aware of. So I suppose the first sort of tongue-in-cheek question would be that the projects that you and your co-founder were working on before, have you finished them or have you shelved them?
No, we've actually finished them, or we're
Oh, you
still
have finished.
working on them right now. Because, for example, my co-founder Herman, which is also my success partner, He has a brick and mortar store for arborists, which has improved drastically over the last couple or over the last year. And the thing I talked about previously was the mechanical engineering marketing company, which
Hmm.
has increased as well. And we both got a lot more stuff done, and we started taking things more seriously. We've seen the positives of it.
So how would it work? Is it a co-founder matching platform, or is the intention that I'm a solo founder, you're a solo founder, we're both lonely, working 24 hours a day at home, and then we can find somebody else to help with that? Is that the plan?
More focused towards finding an accountability or success partner, which is similar in the same boat as you are right now. It doesn't have to be in the same niche as you are currently in. For example,
Hmm.
Herman was in a totally different niche as I was in, and that was quite helpful actually because that meant I could have a different set of like eyes or a different perspective on the things I was achieving or wanting to achieve. And currently, the platform connects you with another entrepreneur. Doesn't have to be a solo founder, can be an entrepreneur that has a team of 10 people running. Could be even people or entrepreneurs that have sold their business already and are looking for something new. Not necessarily to try and find a co founder, although I've seen some profiles popping up with people asking for a co founder in their biography. So I think it's always open to discuss it, as I had the same thing with Herman. And yeah, so it's basically you can write down your weekly tasks. And as I've done it previously with Herman, we set goals and tasks for the upcoming week. Then we do our weekly task and just message each other throughout the week once we need some help or extra motivation. And if we see someone is just slacking a bit and running behind, then we'll message each other saying what's happening to this specific goal or specific task. And it gives them like a sense of, oh, I need to catch up on this thing. And I know someone else is watching my progress, so I have to keep on running. And then the upcoming week, we do the check in again, and then we discuss our previous tasks, all the things we've accomplished, all the goals and wins we have achieved, things we could do better, so reflections and stuff like that. And then the cycle starts again. So it's just a repeated process to make sure you stay accountable.
It's interesting because I have seen a lot of individuals and I suppose founders of smaller businesses as well, where you don't really want to say to them, your staff, I've got this type of problem, I've got that type of problem, because it might start to impact their performance and the way they think about the business. You're saying, I don't know if we're going to hit sales targets in 6 months' time, we might need to cut some staff. You can't really tell your
Yeah,
secretary. She thinks it might be me who's going to go. So I can see how that works across the board. It's an interesting concept, and I'm surprised it's not been done a lot more before. So, is there a lot of other platforms out there that's similar to this?
there are some accountability platforms, but the thing was because I've tried many of them, and the main problem I was facing was that all of those platforms were targeted towards everyone, just to the masses. So, for example, I had set several tasks. Well, you know how busy entrepreneurship can be. So, you have a whole list of tasks you have to finish, and then you get matched with someone that just wants to run for 3 times per week, and then you have to keep them
Yeah.
accountable for those three actions, and they have to keep you accountable for all those other things. You're not in the same boat, so they can't really relate to the same level you're facing right now. So that's what sets it apart.
I can see that because right now I need to lose weight and I also need to start and grow a business. So from there, I wouldn't have myself as an accountability partner in either one because I know Fat Man says, well, you can't, you need to go out running. And then the entrepreneur says, well, no, we need to keep working. So it's automatically a very difficult conversation to trick myself into be more productive, let alone trying to encourage somebody else to be productive. So yeah, I can see how that falls apart. So from there, if somebody was to join today they come along and they say, I'm interested in joining, what was the service going to look like for them? Are they going to be charged a fee up front? Are they going to be able to come on and slowly on board and have a freemium model? How does it work for them?
So currently it's a freemium model, but we're planning on shifting more towards a paid model. So we'll get rid of the
Mhm.
free model. So I'll first start with the service. Once you onboard it, you'll have to write down your biography, select some interest, choose a profile picture, a tagline, and your name, of course. You'll get on the
Mhm.
platform and you have a section of profiles which you can swipe. So you can either swipe left or right, like Tinder style, but more focused on like the background of people and their interests rather than their profile picture. And then you'll create like a contact list of all other entrepreneurs, solo founders, etc. You can send them a request to be a venture pal for the week. If it clicks and you vibe with each other, you can extend the partnership. And if it
Mhm.
doesn't work, that can happen all the time because people are different. You can opt out the partnership after a week and you can send a request to a new person. And if that works, you can keep recontinuing the partnership. And for the premium version, you can have a network feature as well. You can message all the people who you will build up in your venture pal list instead of just being able to message one. And after we've had some feedback, we're going to deviate towards the paid model, but just with a small contribution fee. So let's say $2 per month, just to keep unserious people out and the serious people in. And then at the same time, you can still upgrade to the premium version for all the extra features. This is still our first release, so the 1.0. So we're still gathering a lot of feedback, feature requests. For example, we have some features in the backlog right now which are being developed as weekly meeting schedules where you can call with your partner if you're comfortable with that to really get the personal benefits of an accountability partner. There are a lot of things we have in the backlog right now which are being developed to improve all the premium functions.
It's interesting because I suppose your tool falls in between a productivity tool and then a networking tool.
Yeah, because for example, we also, I forgot to mention, so it's basically a task tracker, but with extra benefits. So it has what we deviate from the concept task tracking because it's not really the same. It's more a social networking platform with an integrated weekly task tracker. For
Mhm.
example, most people find daily task tracking too intensive. So it's just a lot of work to every day, schedule out every task you have to do. So we move towards weekly task tracking. So in the dashboard of Venture Pals, you can set all your weekly tasks with subtasks, X project with a subtask, create a landing page, do the marketing, etc., etc. And you can set a due date. Your partner can then comment on your tasks and they can message you with the chat feature, but it's mainly focused toward the matching part, and then you can track each other's tasks and keep them accountable.
It's an interesting way of doing things. I think there's a lot of people on the face of it. It's a tool that could be beneficial to them. So, have you done much to validate it before you launched it, or was it
Uh,
just based on
yeah.
your experience?
No, we've made an MVP in August. We launched it as well with a, small beta group, which was pretty successful. They were all very fond of it and were excited to use the 1.0 version. So yeah, we've done some testing beforehand.
So, longer term, what would you imagine that the Venture Pals is going to do? Like, how will it fit in the market? Will it be one of those tools that people will use from the first day they start the entrepreneur journey to perhaps even after they retire, or is it something that they'll come on board with and then perhaps leave?
Yeah, so we have a vision for venture pals that it will be like a standard practice for new founders, but also for established entrepreneurs to just try and test a success partner as it greatly
Mhm.
enhances the odds of succeeding your venture. And currently, the startup failure rate is at 90% within 5 years. And that's
Mhm.
not even mentioning all the ideas that don't even get past that idea stage. Because it's hard, it's difficult. And especially if you're going at it alone at first and you have all these challenges and obstacles you have to push through, a lot of people don't even get past that. So we're on a mission to, yeah, drastically change the current startup failure rate, because we envision a world where new ideas, new technologies have a greater chance of succeeding, which could benefit the world after all and make everyone's life better. So we're currently discussing with several accelerators to integrate our app with their program, like a buddy up system where they can match within their community or even outside their community if they'd like, and stay accountable at the end of the day.
That's interesting. I think as well that there's an opportunity there for a little bit of almost mentoring and giving back to some of these founders who have been through the accelerators. Could say, I'm prepared to mentor somebody in the developing nation and really help them understand things from a different perspective that they couldn't have done before.
Yeah.
You're smiling like I've stolen something off your roadmap.
No, that's it's one of the things we had listed down on our features eventually, because
Mhm.
one of the most requested features was to have a group cohort. So a lot of people, especially some solo founders, can have a bit of a daunting feeling to match with another entrepreneur, especially if they're introverted, and so they're more likely to join a group of people rather than having to connect with someone one on one. So that was the first thing we had in mind. And then the second thing was, as an extra layer, we could later on add mentors who would like to give back, or just entrepreneurs in general who would like to mentors, solo founders or startup founders, could be from anywhere. But yeah, that was, yeah, something.
And I think that the groups would certainly help when, especially if somebody goes on holiday, because unless you're going to sync your holidays, if founders ever take a holiday, that is. But let's assume that they do, or that there's some life gets in the way somewhere. All of a sudden, you've lost your accountability partner, and it's a shame. Obviously, if you've got two or three people in the group, that's you should reduce that. Will there be much AI coming into the platform in the future?
Yeah, we have some plans for AI already. For example, with the matching part, see if we can apply some machine learning to make better matches automatically. We have some plans to incorporate AI with the video or audio calls. For example, let's if we discuss our weekly tasks and the goals we achieved and reflections we made last week, the AI will automatically make the list of tasks and subtasks you have for the upcoming week. So you don't have to do that manually.
I saw a tour recently on Product Hunt who done translations live. So obviously English isn't your first language, and some would argue it's not mine either, being from Northern England. So being able to have a communication where we don't speak the same language, but we believe that you're a technical co-founder, I'm a marketing co-founder. Our skill sets could align to help one another for our own businesses, but we don't speak the same language. Yeah, it could be very interesting use of AI in there.
Yeah,
It'll be fantastic for them.
yeah,
So
definitely.
it's an interesting roadmap, and I think you've got the more founders you get on. Obviously, hopefully, that they're all innovative and not wanting to steal your idea, and just keep working on their own. So it'll be a lot of interesting feedback as opposed to a tool. Sometimes you put it out into the public and they say, "Oh, it'd be nice if the button was bigger," and it doesn't really add value.
Yeah.
On Product Hunt, you came fourth on the fourth, which is a good string of numbers. Yeah, how was that for you guys? Was it a big campaign with a lot of hard work, or were you able to do it relatively straightforwardly?
It has both sides. To add another four to it, 4 months before I joined the platform to
Okay.
support new launches. And yeah, to build up like a community, get some more engagement going, speak to several founders, which was also very fun. Made a lot of
Hmm.
new connections and made several new opportunities also with the accelerator team to, yeah, do some partnerships. Yeah, I think for me, it was basically connecting with probably 100 founders and CEOs of people that were in Product Hunt or that launched on Product Hunt already per week. So I made quite some connections and trying engage in the community quite a bit, getting to know each other, making your yeah personality stand out, make friends around the place. Because Product Hunt is quite a positive community. It has both sides because they're very positive, but if something is wrong with the product, they're not the people that will really tell you about it quite easily because they don't want to hurt you. But I think 4 months until the 1 month mark, it was basically engaging with the community, making friends, all that kinds of stuff. Then 1 month before, it was creating the teaser page and actively, yeah, trying to market and promote the teaser page while also helping others with their launch to get some initial signups on a notification page. I've noticed that the notified list isn't really of a benefit because they'll get an email, but most people don't even open the first email they get from Product Hunt unless you have some people that are really excited about the platform itself. Then they open them quite fast and often they see your launch as well. But it was mainly messaging people through LinkedIn, asking them if they like the platform and the app. I don't think we've done anything else besides that.
You're in a unique position because sometimes on Product Hunt, somebody's releasing a product that wouldn't necessarily be a great platform fit. But obviously, when people are launching products, they're at the beginning and they would be ideal customers for you.
Yeah, both yes and no, because what we've seen, because that was our initial thought as well, that a product hunt would be the best place to launch our product as it's filled with other makers, creators, solo founders, etc. But the thing we saw was that Product Hunt also has a lot of early adopters who just like the tech, but they download, for example, the app, create an account, use it for 5 minutes, and then they never look back. So you'll end up with a lot of inactive accounts. Fortunately, we've taken some measurements before to make sure that other people don't really get some negative user experience from that, as once they turn inactive, they will be removed from the list. But yeah, we definitely got a lot of signups. I think we're currently on around 200 signups, with I think 50 being one of those early adopter accounts which checked out the app and then removed it eventually. So still 150 users that came to the app and just actively use it. So those are some quite interesting numbers. We had the free plan at the start. We knew we wouldn't make any revenue at the starting point. That was our initial thoughts as well, as the value proposition and the perceived value would be visible after 2 weeks once they've connected with some different venture pals and made a list of them.
Yeah, because you've got a bit of a marketplace type problem, don't you? Of you need to have enough people on there to attract enough people to come.
Yeah, that's quite a risky thing of our platform. It's very user intensive. So like most social media networks, you need a lot of users to really get the ball rolling. That's why we're currently also talking and collaborating with startup accelerators because they have quite some communities and they can very much benefit from the service. So that's where we're at right now.
Some accelerators, as we'll use YC, it's perhaps the most famous one as the example, is obviously they've got the current batches and cohorts or whatever they are, and then the next time round, if somebody's starting a second venture, they might say, well, I don't want to have somebody from YC this time. I want to go and speak to somebody who's not learned anything the sort of the from the same learnings I've got from the YC and the way they might teach things. It's interesting. From there, is there anything you'd have done differently on Product Hunt?
That's quite a difficult question because a couple of days ago we launched, so we don't really have all the details of our launch. I think most of the real results will come later because the thing we've
Mhm.
noticed is on the launch day itself, a lot of people tend to download the app, but mostly early adopters. Once the product launch day has gone by, then it's mainly the more serious people that check out the products of the previous days, and they become real users.
Hmm.
So I think that will go on about for a month or so. And in that case, it's still a lot of days to go to really see if we should have done anything different.
I think from some of the people I've spoken to, they had a lot more of their users come through the newsletter, which is something that you can ask to be featured in.
Yeah, I
So
think since we were in the top four, I think top 10 even, they all get in the featured newsletter. So ours was as well.
yeah, because it might be interesting for you to say to Product Hunter, we've got a national day of anti-loneliness or something, coming up. Can we get featured on this day? Obviously, because we're a good fit for that, for the newsletter for that day. So is this going to be a continued go-to-market, or are you looking at a few other platforms and a few other things to get yourself listed on?
Yeah, so we've looked at some different directories to eventually list our app in. But I think the main propellant will probably be the accelerators or the incubators, and
Hmm.
yeah, collaborate and partner with them. Because right now we're developing a community option for inside of venture pals. So those accelerators and incubators will get like a specific code for their community, and all of their community members can get in the platform with that specific code and only see all the people, founders, etc., that are inside their community. They can also have the option to see outsiders as well, but some prefer to only engage with the inside community. So yeah,
I think you could expand it a little bit further, whether you're able to handle it or look at the sales for now. I don't know. It's a different question, but you've got a lot of different networking groups. So like in the north of England, it's like the Northeast Chamber of Commerce, and then there's a Chamber of Commerce up and down the country, and all of those other places where there's like the BNI, and there's a few global networking groups as well. I suppose
yeah,
from the same perspective, you'd have the ability to one, tap into that as helping them have a digital community, and then two, look at the other way. So it might be that you end up with more of a business to business product, at least initially, than a business to solo founder. It's very
yeah,
interesting.
definitely. Because one of the things we were attacking first was, since we both started as accountability partners and solved our own problem, we automatically pivoted toward that. But we got a lot of requests from accelerators to help them with the body system. So we're currently more pivoting toward the product market fit and seeing where it's at. But I think the B2B business towards more bigger communities is definitely the way to go.
Certainly, it'll give you the network effect that you need to make the social network work. It's interesting. I hope it works out from there. So from there, is there anything else you'd like to add or discuss?
Yeah, currently I don't think I have anything left on the table.
Okay, so from there, I think we're about ready to wrap up, and then we'll look at perhaps catching up with you in 6 months' time or so, because I think the long tail effects of the product, and then it'll be very interesting to find out the accelerators and how they've taken you on board, and then how Venture Pals is working across the board. Because I think you're right, and there's an issue with the market if you're matching somebody who wants to lose weight to somebody who wants to start a business. The goals are not the way they're going about their daily life is not the same thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can see it's a good fit from there. And obviously, it's small businesses. There's I think half a billion around the world. So there's a big market to go for. So it'll be interesting to see just how it unfolds.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. From there, I'd say thank you, Joe, for coming, and have a wonderful day. And I look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And you
Thank you.
too.